Hello everyone, my name is Nordic Beast and welcome back to the Shipyard. So I haven't posted in a couple of days. I started my new job and I kind of took a little bit of a break from YouTube. I just trying to get back into the grind of things, get used to my new schedule. As like right now it's like 3 in the morning, something like that. Yeah, 3 in the morning. So just trying to get used to that. So a couple of things I'd like to talk about, like things I'm going to be doing here soon in the near future. First off, Drunk Spider-Man was kind enough to give me a copy of The Killing Floor, the original Killing Floor. Holy shit, am I hopelessly addicted to that game, and is it fun? Wow. I see why it was so damned popular. So that being said, if I do play that with him more often, I will record it, I will post it. That's one that will just be, whenever I happen to do it, I will post it. It's not going to be like a regular series like all my Space Engineer stuff is. So after that, talking to a lot of Nidites, we always talk about what we would like out of Space Engineers. And number one is always the netcode. I'm the only person who I would prefer planets first, just because I so hopelessly want planets. Because I watched gameplay on Empyrean, and Empyrean is just like Space Engineers with planets. And I think they're slightly smaller than what Space Engineer planets are going to be, and it's not as pretty. But goddamn, do I want to play that. Holy shit. But I figured I'd talk about a couple of things I would love to see in the game, added into the game. And that would be, number one on that list would be guided missiles and decoys. With the guided missiles, I would like to see like a simple AI, like a lock and fire, system for the missiles. They would be, they wouldn't turn particularly well. They wouldn't be, like super bullet point accurate. Like they would have a limited arc that they could turn, and they would only be able to thrust for so far. Say after 800 meters, just like the rockets, they would lose thrust, and then off they would go, or just disappear or explode or whatever. Or maybe make them go a little bit further, but their damage would be less than rockets, which honestly I think should be what rockets are now, because rockets aren't the most powerful. Neither are the Gatling guns, which is an issue I have as well. But then with decoys, you could make a decoy launcher. Make it expensive. Make it use a couple of parts that are costly, like a detection component, things like that, things that you normally don't have. And then same thing with the decoys. The decoys would be expensive, but they would have like a 50% chance to veer the missile away. Make it relatively fair. So after that, I would love to see more range of cockpits and Gatling guns, or just guns in general, just like ship weapons. I love the cockpits in the game. I love both the original and Darth Biomech's cockpit that was brought into the game. Sorry, I know I keep like just floating around here, like tantalizingly not showing really what this is, but you'll see soon enough. Sorry. But yeah, I would love to see more variations, even on the cockpits that currently exist, or add some that are pretty good into the game, like the Azimuth cockpit. I really like that. Some of Sectan's cockpits are pretty nice too. If they're good enough, put them in the game, as opposed to just being mods. A lot of people say like the things I'm talking about. Well, you can get them in mods or whatever. But yeah, that A doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be balanced. B, they won't be optimized for the game, and C, doesn't mean every damn server I'm going to be on is going to have them. I'd rather see stuff like this already in the game. So, after that would be radar, speaking of mods. There is a radar mod that is pretty good, but it's not very user-friendly. I would love to see, I don't know, somehow, like, maybe it could be on your HUD, like in the general direction where you're looking, give you, like, a general blip of what's going on out there. Kind of like how the actual radar mod works, just easier on the settings, things like that. So, and last, I've talked about this before, to calculate a maximum speed based on your weight to thrust. So, I don't know, maybe you could put other variations in there. I doubt that's something they're ever going to add, especially now it's not that big a deal with jump drives. The 104 meters a second limit isn't that big a deal, since you can jump thousands of kilometers at a time now, and then, cruise the rest of the way. Which, by the way, the jump drive, I think, was a great addition to the game. So that's pretty much my ideas on what I'd like to see in the game. So next up is this big-ass ship you see here. This is the Hand of Tyr. This is a carrier, which you can see a bunch of fighters on top, which I'll get to that in a minute, that I'm going to add into the NID eventually. I'm probably going to have to grind down a lot of shit, like the exploration base that's above mine. I started grinding that down already, so that'll probably be gone soon. And then the red penis ship that Dracul left at my outpost in the middle of the map, I will probably get rid of that too soon, just for parts. And I might even destroy, like, grind down the Infinity, and this will be the Infinity's replacement. So, as you see here, I have Gatling turrets internally. Originally I was going to put interior turrets on the inside, but then I realized they attach directly to, or I have room to attach them directly into the conveyor system, so why not? So now I don't have to worry about multiple types of ammo. It's conveyed directly into the ship, and it'll, you know, yeah. Woe to whoever tries to get into this damn ship. That would be a hell of a surprise. So, I would do a tour of the ship, but it's a relatively large ship, and there's not really all that much in there, though. So I will just kind of leave it be for now. Oh, I forgot one other thing. I will also... This is kind of up in the air that I'll be posting in the future. A game called XPlane. My dad and I have been playing it since probably 2001. It's up to XPlane 10 now. It is on Steam, so if it ever goes on sale, Steam or XPlane 10, I probably will buy it. My dad's a private pilot. I've flown since I was about 12 years old. In fact, another Nidite, General Hatchet, and I, we really hit it off and started talking because he too is taking his flight training. And I was about his age. Well, I was a little younger than him when I started, but I was about his age when I was supposed to take my solo. I wasn't doing too well in high school at the time. My dad told me if I didn't start doing better, he would stop the flight lessons. To which he stopped the flight lessons. And then we promptly moved, and I never picked them up again. So, when I'm done with college, I will probably go off and get my pilot's license soon. But with XPlane, you can actually... there's a network you can be part of that has flight controllers, like real-life human flight controllers for air traffic control, and you can call them in-game using some program. Not only that, you can have a pilot and co-pilot per aircraft by playing multiplayer. And me and my dad were talking about playing it, and I told him if we do, I will record and post it. That's much like Killing Floor. If I do it, I would only post it on occasion, and that one I'd probably chop up quite a bit, because, I mean, you know, flying point A to point B can only be so interesting. But it is a very cool game. If you've never played it, at least take a look at it. You can play the whole game for free, but it only lasts for 5 minutes. And the reason is it has a very realistic, though difficult to use, aircraft creator. And you can design and build your own aircraft, which I did for a long time. Not too long ago, I was on XPlane's forums, and I found posts by me from 2003. Where I would be posting for contests and stuff like that. We did seaplane air racers. We did F1 racers, or I'm sorry, the unlimited racers, not F1s. Well, we did eventually do F1 racers as well. These are all Reno aircraft races. If you've never looked that up, look it up as well. Reno racing is amazing. I mean, if you think like NASCAR and shit like that is cool, or dangerous or risky, try flying a 4,000 horsepower aircraft 500 miles an hour 50 feet off the ground. Then you can tell me who's more ballsy. So anyway, yeah, so XPlane probably, maybe soon if I buy the game, if Steam puts it on sale, that kind of thing. But anyway, so this is first up. This is the Lancer. This is like my Dogfighter. Again, I was trying to go for something different. I wanted more of a classic, like X-Wing Viper look to a fighter. I wanted something different than I usually do, but something familiar, and I think I really hit it with this one. And by the way, I really like this, like the little cutouts in the winglets so that the thrusters can thrust through. I like that. I think it's cool. But it also has a rocket in each wingtip, and it has 3 Gatling guns, so it does meet the criteria of the fighter rules for my fighter map, which I still kind of roll by. But I ended up fighting Lord Wiseman with this, and I found out because of its lightweight, it's about 17,000 kilograms, with a decent thrust, but also with good reverse thrust and good directional thrust. This thing's a hell of a dogfighter. I was easily able to maneuver out of his gun arcs, and he never got a chance to even shoot at me. So I found a good use for this fighter. I was afraid, like, with it not being as good an acceleration as some of my other ships, it wouldn't be as viable. But no, it has its purpose. So I was quite pleased with how it turned out. I like the look, I like its function, and not only that, it's very, very, very easy to use. This would be a great first-time fighter for people, so I will probably post this one on the workshop soon, as will most of these over here. But so next up is this. This is called the Rune. The Rune is actually a bomber. What had happened was I just had a build room open, and Lord Wiseman had joined me. Like, he just randomly hopped in my room, and he was building and I was building, and then we descended into dogfighting, and so a lot of these were from that build. But yeah, so the Rune is, as I said, a bomber. It has 6 downward-facing rocket launchers. A little tricky to use even with the camera, but it works. It works quite well and packs a hell of a punch. It also has 4 forward-facing rocket launchers, all on timers so they can fire individually, and 8 Gatling guns and 2 4-packs that you see here. Now, this thing doesn't maneuver particularly well, and it also has high thrust because it uses all large thrusters except for these little small thrusters back here. And so with that, it doesn't really shoot into the ship. I haven't had any issue of that. Even this Gatling gun right here. And it's more for strafing anyway, and it packs a hell of a punch. But if you look, turn that on. As you notice, it doesn't maneuver particularly well. I did dogfight with it. It can do it in a pinch, but it is not a design dogfighter. Don't go into a fight thinking, yeah, I'm going to dominate a light fighter with this thing. No. No. Most fighters will do circles around this, but it works. I added this laser antenna, honestly, for looks. You could use it, but it's really there for looks. So this ship here, no name. I have yet to give it a name. It's just antenna. Yet again, trying to go for a different look. I used some ships on the workshop as reference. There was one that had like a similar outer engine layout like all this here, but it was like all fully thick armored and heavy armor and all that, and I really liked the layout, so I kind of went with it and then built my own ship based on it. The back is 100% different. I wanted something different is all. I'm tired of building the same shit over and over, so this is what I came up with. It's actually quite maneuverable. It's almost as heavy as the Rune. It has less weapons. And one thing about the Rune, unlike all my other ships, it is actually fully reactor powered. It has a jumpstart reactor, but it has 2 large reactors too. Jumpstart just to get the conveyors working. So this is battery powered, and it's got the 4 Gatlings, which actually they are even maneuvering and such. They don't hit the ship. They're in pretty good spots. So. And then it's got the 4 rocket launchers for, on timers and all that for forward firing. So it's quite good, very maneuverable. It would be very resource intensive. I think that's why I like smaller fighters like this better. Even for like a big carrier like this, you could build 2 of those for what you put into this one, and it's an equally as good fighter. I mean, this might have a bit more performance. It might have an edge in performance, especially in directional control. But actually, I'd say it probably is less in acceleration, even with 6 large thrusters to the rear, just because of its weight. And then, like I said, it's very resource intensive. So, but I still like it. I'm quite happy with it. I'll probably finish it up, give it a name, make it an official ship. So now this, if you don't recognize this, you're not a sci-fi fan. I'm a big Babylon 5 fan, and this is based off the Babylon 5 Star Fury. Now, in the show, there was the Star Fury, and then there was a 2-seat model, one that had a turret on the back and carried more weapons. It was the attack version called the Badger, so Oh, its antenna's not on. But I named it the Star Badger, which I like. Yet again, this time around, I wanted to make a ship that looked like an actual space fighter, and the only ship I've ever seen that really looks like it belongs in space is a Star Fury, which, little known fact, it is the first spaceship on TV to ever actually use Newtonian physics to fly. So, little useless fact for you. It flies quite well, and it's got the 4 Gatlings and the 2 rocket launchers. It's all battery powered, so it's not a bad ship, and it's got oxygen and everything. All my ships are fully conveyed and survivable. And last, if you have ever played Wing Commander Prophecy, this is the fighter right off the cover of the game. I can't remember the name of the damn ship. I want to say it was like the Vampire, something along those lines. It's like the F-104, F-103 maybe. But anyway, I played the game years ago. I was a teenager, and it was an old game even by that point. And I played the game just because of this fighter, and I didn't like how the game handled, to be honest. I didn't like the gameplay itself. Again, it was an older game, and at that point I had played... damn it, what was the name of that game? Something Descent. Descent Free Space. And Descent Free Space 2, which had much better... Like, it's probably still, to this day, the best space simulator ever. And it's not even a realistic space simulator, but it's still fun. It's very well balanced. It's just a great game. But Wing Commander had this fighter, and I played it just to fly this fighter. And it was awesome, but the game was terrible. If you don't know, Wing Commander is made by the same guy making Star Citizen. Now, Star Citizen looks amazing. I would love to give Star Citizen a shot. Maybe if I get some money in the bank sometime in the near future, I will, put some money towards it and, start playing it, even though there's not much to play right now. But as you see, I went with a lot of the curved blocks trying to get the actual look of the ship. But if you notice, like, you get little lips like this here and like all this down here. You can get the ones that merge, like the blocks that merge, but they don't always look all that good, and they dent things around them, and it just doesn't match up well. They're not very good blocks. Sometimes you get lucky and they'll look good, but so yeah. And this is probably the second ship, I'd say, that I've ever tried to build to match the look of an actual ship from like another game. The other one was from Colony Wars Vengeance. I tried to make the Hex, which my ship, the Vengeance, is based off the Hex. But I did actually try to make the Hex, and it didn't turn out too well. Maybe I'll refine that sometime soon, repost it. So, like I said, I'll probably post all of these. The Handed Tier might be a little while. I kind of want it built in the NID server before I post it. So, that's pretty much what I've been up to lately. So, like I said, there was my wish list. I'll be posting Killing Floor whenever I get a chance. Like I said, whenever I play it and I happen to record it, I'll post it. Won't be a regular series. I might do XPlane with my dad, which, by the way, he is a very interesting person. He's like me, but a little older and grumpier. And but he's very, very nice, interesting person. So, and he knows I would be recording if we end up doing that. And then, like I said, I built all these, and I'll be building this in the NID server. So, well, thank you guys so much. If you enjoy the series, please hit the subscribe button. If you like the episode, please hit the like button. And I'll see you guys next time.